Right now, as you're listening to this video, maybe you're in bed, maybe you put your headphones on and turned off the lights, or maybe you're just doing something in the background and only listening to my voice. And without you noticing, time is passing. The clock on your phone shows this second by second, but have you ever really thought about this? This thing that is flowing, does it actually exist? Or is time just a story our brain invented to create some order? Today, we're going to chase exactly this question. We'll calmly explore what time is through everyday life, physics, and philosophy. If you're ready, let's begin. Let's go back a little. When you were a child, summer holidays felt almost endless, didn't they? Weeks before school ended, you couldn't even sleep from excitement. Now a whole year goes by and we say, wasn't it just January? While we live in the same world, with the same 24-hour days, why does our perception of time change this much? Maybe what we call time is not really a river flowing outside of us, but a mechanism working inside us. But what does science say about this mechanism? One of the people who tried to understand time was Isaac Newton, whose name you've probably heard many times. For Newton, time was like a huge cosmic clock ticking in the same way everywhere in the universe, for everyone. So while you're sleeping, and at the same moment a star goes supernova in another galaxy, both are moving forward with the same tick-tock of a single universal time. This fits very well with how we feel in daily life. If the train leaves at 10:30, you miss it at 10:31. It doesn't matter if the watch is on your wrist or mine, time is shared. For many years, both the scientific world and humanity found this idea perfectly reasonable until Einstein appeared. With his theory of relativity, Einstein basically came and said, "I'm sorry, but time does not pass at the same rate for everyone. Imagine traveling in a spaceship that is moving very close to the speed of light. For you inside, let's say 1 year passes, but when you come back to Earth, you might see that 10 or even 20 years have passed outside. In other words, your clock and Earth's clock are not telling the same story. This is not just a sci-fi movie idea. In real life, when very precise atomic clocks were placed on airplanes and flown around the world, they came back with tiny differences compared to the clocks that stayed on the ground. So small that we can't feel it in daily life, but for physics, that difference is very real. More than that, when you use GPS today, the clocks on the satellites are adjusted by taking relativity into account. Otherwise, your location would be off by several meters. So yes, time is not as straight and fixed as we thought. Speed and gravity can bend and stretch time. So what does all of this mean? If we think of the universe as a kind of film strip, for Newton, the film is constantly moving forward and each frame is lived only once. In Einstein's view, though, all the frames, past, present, and future, are somehow all there at the same time. We are just observers moving from one frame to the next along that strip. There is a model that some physicists defend, the block universe idea. According to this model, the past, the present, and the future all exist together. We think time is flowing only because we are moving along one particular line inside this block. This point of view can feel a bit disturbing. If my future is already there in this block, where is my free will? And this is where physics slowly steps back from the stage and philosophy steps in. In philosophy, there are roughly two big approaches to time. The first is what most people intuitively believe in daily life. Only the present is real. The past is gone, it no longer exists. The future hasn't happened yet, so it doesn't exist either. There is only this moment, the moment you're listening to this sentence. The second one is more radical. It says, the past and the future are just as real as the present. Right now you're listening to this video, but the you from last week and the you 10 years from now are also there somewhere in the structure of the universe. Think of time as a long line drawn on a piece of paper. You slowly slide your finger along that line, but the entire line from start to finish is there all at once. What we call now is just the point on that line where your finger happens to be touching at this moment. At this point, the question stops being just physical and turns into an existential one. If my future already exists somewhere, are my fears, hopes, and plans already written as well? Or even if there is such a block structure to time, could the way I move within that block still be free? There's no clear answer to this. Science gives us mathematical models. Philosophy questions the meaning of those models. Maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. Now let's look at the psychological side of time. As children, time feels slow. As adults, it feels fast. There might be several reasons for this. First, our brain pays much more attention to new experiences. In the first years of life, almost everything is new. The first time you go to the sea, the first time you ride a bike, the first day of school. While the brain is recording what is new, we experience time more intensely. That's why those years take up such a rich place in our memory. When we look back, they feel longer. In adulthood, however, days start to resemble each other. Similar roads, similar jobs, similar screens. The brain saves repetitive things like a compressed file. When we look back, we say, I don't understand how this year went by so fast. Second, it's a bit like mathematics. As we get older, 1 year becomes a smaller fraction of our entire life. For a 5-year-old child, 1 year is 1/5 of their life. For a 50-year-old, it's only 1/50th. So as we age, a year feels subjectively shorter and time seems to speed up. When we put all of this together, an interesting picture appears. Physics tells us that time is flexible, philosophy can't give a final answer on how real time is, and psychology shows that most of what we feel as time is actually being shaped in our own perception. So what good is this to us? Maybe the simplest answer is this: we can't fully control time itself, but we can change, at least to some extent, how we experience it. Learning new things, seeing different places, breaking monotony, creating memories that make your brain say, wow, this year was really full, might be a way to expand the time you feel you've lived. Likewise, instead of constantly thinking about the past or producing anxiety about the future, sometimes simply returning to this moment, the moment you're listening to this sentence, can soften our relationship with time. Maybe time is not a huge river flowing in the universe. Maybe you are the storyteller inside your own mind, writing the story of that river. Science offers us formulas to understand how time works. Philosophy debates the meaning behind those formulas. Psychology studies how we live this story. In the end, we're left with this. While you're listening to this video, how do you want to live your time? Will every day be the same as the last, or will you sprinkle in moments where you can honestly say, I'm glad I did that? Maybe the real question is not, does time really exist, but how do I want to fill the time that I have? Thank you for listening. In our next journey, let's explore another mystery of the universe together. For now, let's leave a small smile to time and end the video here.